What is happening, collectors? I finally have got some PSA cards and BGS cards that have just come back, and I've waited a surprisingly long time. A long time for these. I'm still waiting actually for some Ludkin's cards, but this is some awesome cards. We're talking about WOTC era. We've got a little bit of modern. I think I've got one sports card thrown in there as well. And actually I have another video that is going to be kind of crazy that I tried to get a card graded with Beckett. They wouldn't do it, but then sent it to PSA and they did. Kind of spoiler alert. It's coming out later this week, so make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell because this is a pretty big one. It's a pretty valuable card. Actually an exceptionally valuable card. So definitely make sure you are watching for that because that's going to be later in this week. So we've got, I don't know, 15, 20 different cards that we've got. Here's the first stack. We got another box over here of the second stack. I'm excited to crack into this. So let's just get into this nice and quick here. So we are starting off with, yes, a Charizard from the Celebrations collection. I know everybody, this was one of the most popular graded cards, and it came back as a Gem Mint 10. I don't expect that is worth a crazy amount, but I am happy. You know what? You're gonna go at the back just because you're Charizard. We actually have a number of Charizards that are in this video. In fact, the next one's a Charizard. We have got a Charizard VMAX from Shining Fates. It's the shiny Charizard, and I had the pleasure of pulling this a few times. In fact, I believe I pulled this for fellow content creators out of the Netherlands, MD Pokemon, Morgan and Danny. So this is mine, and it came back as a Gem Mint 10 as well. So you know what, you can just cover up my logo there in the back, but that's okay. And then last but not least, for these are my cards, and the WOTC cards are actually my aunt's cards that she kept from the long time ago. We're talking 20 plus years ago. So we got Pikachu VMAX, and this came back sadly as a 9, which you know what, I kind of knew it. Centering isn't perfect on the front, shifted a little bit to the left, so can't be too upset there. Now this card, let me take that out of the sleeve there. I guess there's no point covering up. You can see it came as a 9.5. This is a Young Gun. This is just a NHL hockey player, Young Guns canvas of Victor Olofsson. Great Buffalo Sabre player. Don't know if this is going to go crazy. I sent this in because I thought it had a chance at a black label. Obviously, I'm a little bit off, but it did pretty well. Now, this last one, I'm going to cover up the whole thing. I also sent a Birds. This was the, I thought this looked absolutely perfect. I really believed that this looked absolutely perfect when I looked it over at the centering, looked at the corners, the edges, everything. This was the Hidden Fates promo that you would get, and it came back as a 9.5 as well. As you can see, pretty darn close. Like, apparently only half a point on edges and a half a point on surface. I don't know where the edge is. Don't know surface. I may have missed something there because it's tough to tell with modern cards. This, I really thought this had a chance at a black label because I just think this has got to be one of the coolest promo cards that Pokemon has ever done because the birds stained glassed, so I thought that was really cool. Now let's get into the WOTC era product. This is a really awesome collection, and I only sent because the grading price of these were not too crazy. It was about 50 bucks Canadian, around there, and it was a lot more reasonable. When I got this collection from my aunt like a year and a half ago, that's when things went crazy and they shut down PSA. So it's been a while, and again, as I mentioned, that video, make sure you hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. That video that's coming out later this week is a pretty wild one where it's talking about how Beckett would grade or wouldn't grade, but PSA would. So definitely make sure you are ready for that. But now look at this, we're getting in, we're kind of going from oldest to newest here. This is the Umbreon from Neo Discovery. It is not first edition, but it is a beautiful card. Umbreon, I thought it looked good. I mean, the centering is not perfect on it, and it came back as a PSA 8, which I was a little disappointed, but as I look at it now, I can see the centering is definitely shifted up and maybe and to the right as well. But overall, pretty darn clean for a, that's a 21-year-old card. So up next, we now move into the Espeon, also from Neo Discovery. Again, beautiful card. This is a little bit more challenging just because the holofoil is a little bit more visible in this one compared to the Umbreon. And we landed a PSA 9. So that, again, it's probably the centering. I see if we could get it into focus there, it does looks like it's shifted up a little bit up, maybe, and a little bit left, but pretty darn close. So in the back, yeah, so it's shifted up, but not so much. I was hoping that we would land a 10 on that one, but no luck there. Then we move into the Dark Dragonite. I love this from Team Rocket, or sorry, just Rocket. I think it's Team Rocket. It's just Team Rocket, yeah. And does it have any like swirls? I don't see any wicked swirls, but the holofoil is awesome on it. Not first edition. Again, centering, it's funny, now that I look at all of these, I can see that centering is shifted down and to the right. So we landed a PSA 8 on that. Again, all these cards are still worth a decent amount. PSA 10 on any of these. The cards we chose to send in were I would say the best chance of getting a 9 or a 10, and that would be the most valuable. So now we get into, again, from Team Rocket, we got a Dark Blastoise. Centering looks a little bit better on this one. Maybe, again, shifted up a bit. And PSA 8. So that one was a little bit disappointing because I really thought that one had a chance at doing at least a PSA 9, although I see, you got a little bit of whitening on the corner there, and on that corner as well. So, I mean, it's tough. I feel like PSA, they're inconsistent, and again, that next video, you're going to want to check that one out. So, now this one is awesome. So we've got a first edition. Check out that swirl right in the middle there. You can kind of tell if I can get the light right. There it is. Look at that swirl right in the middle here. We got Slowking first edition, and it is out of focus. There we go. First edition. This one is a really tough one because it is so much holofoil. Getting a 10 on this is near impossible. And for a few of the cards, I would put the pop report on, especially for the first edition here, because there's probably not very many first edition PSA 10s, and we still don't have one, unfortunately. This one centering, I see it. It's definitely shifted to the right, and the back shifted to the left. So, quality control from 20 years ago, 22 years ago, almost 23 years ago, as we're almost entering 2023. So, still all great cards, all, valuable. Yes. Lugia. I wish this one was first edition. Now, the only thing that's interesting about this one, I believe the pop on the PSA 10, specifically in the non-first edition, is so low. There is like a couple. There's more first edition PSA 10s than non-first editions. So it actually makes it a particularly rare card, but if you miss the PSA 10, it's not as valuable as the first editions. So I don't see any swirls, a nice little moon or whatever you call them there. But that is a beautiful, beautiful card. Centering is pretty darn good on it, honestly. And when we look at the back, centering's good, but now I see, a little white nick at the top there, white nick at the top there. So it's not perfect by any means. And the grade reflects it, so PSA 8. I had hoped a 9 on that one specifically. But boy, are we getting a lot of PSA 8s here. Oh boy. Oh boy, Dark Charizard himself, the Holo first edition from Team Rocket. That is pretty awesome. And the centering on this one, man, looks pretty darn good. On the back, centering looks pretty good, but yeah, I do see like up here, I mean, it's pretty darn good, honestly, but I do see white nicks on almost all the corners. And that's why we got a PSA 8. Ah, man. See, it's tricky because I know on the ones that have like all that holofoil, it's trickier when you got all the holofoil, but when you got a card like that with less holo, this one, oh, I see a good nick on that corner there. Oh boy, what is this one? Venusaur. Venusaur from base set. As you can imagine, I've got a couple cards left. You probably know where we're going with these. 1999. Venusaur, I do remember looking at these ones, and you get the silvering. I wonder if I can get the angle here right, but you've got like silvering that happens on the older cards, where it just kind of chips off, and PSA sometimes deducts for it, and sometimes they don't. So it's kind of tricky because centering on this is perfect, but this one did receive a 7, which is sad. But I suspect it is because of that nick. Like, that's a pretty substantial nick compared to everything else. That has the biggest nick. That's for sure. All right, I'm gonna guess Blastoise. Centering pretty good on this. No nicks on the corners from what I could tell. Oh, nope. We went to Charizard. So I wonder if Blastoise is last. Yeah, I can't quite tell what that is, but it's on, I think that's on the card. Whatever is on the corner there. Don't remember that, but, you know, I can see, I wonder if you can see the silvering. You see the silvering on the top edge there? You know, that's what happens with a lot of these old WOTC era cards. They're sitting in binders, and they just get a little bit brittle, I think. And probably all depends on how you know, store the cards. And I know PSA sometimes deduct for it, sometimes they don't. But here we go, got a base set. I myself have the PSA 8, and my aunt now has also a PSA 8. This is probably one of the more valuable cards, I imagine, just, you know, cost-wise. It's a beautiful card. This is the card that I never had when I was a kid. I never pulled it, which makes me sad. But you know what? I got one now, so I can't be upset about that. And I got it before the boom of Pokemon a couple years ago. We got a Blastoise. Again, same issues. I believe it was the edge. Yeah, the silvering on the edges. When we look at the back, we have got, a little nick actually in the middle there on the edge. Corners, yeah, little nicks on the corners. So we've got a PSA 8 on this one as well. So thanks for watching, guys. Again, make sure you hit subscribe, because on Thursday that video is going to be up, and if you're watching this a couple days later, it's right there on the screen. So make sure you watch that video. And up here as well, there is some grading, just all my videos on grading. You're going to want to check out that playlist. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing day. Bye.